All right, so we're kicking off our business forum, Bridging the Gap, Building Tomorrow's Skilled Workforce Today. As I mentioned, our host sponsor is Clark Technology, and we appreciate their support. And then we have several resource bear partners here with us that are sharing how they can help you with your workforce challenges or opportunities, as I like to say. So today, this forum, workforce obviously is not a new topic. In fact, I've been at the Chamber for 6 years. From the day one that I got here, workforce was a topic. And then post-COVID, during COVID, it's just ramped up. And then, of course, with all the growth that's happening in Louisa County, it just continues to be a priority to assist. And so what we've done today is really brought together educational resources. We have a fabulous panel. And then we also have resources that are here. Our goal is that you are walking away with at least one nugget, if not more, that you can take action on now, whether it's to help you immediately or in the long term with your strategies in building for the future. Before we start with our panel discussions, I do want to just kind of give you, this is probably not going to be new for any of you because you're living it, but one of the things that was the driving force behind this and future opportunities that we're going to provide to assist you was, what are those challenges that you're facing? And, we get resources through the Virginia Chamber, the U.S. Chamber, conversations, but what I wanted to kind of do is just kind of encapsulates those primary problems that is driving some of our discussion today and our questions of our panelists. So the key challenges that we're seeing in your industries of utility, construction, and manufacturing have to do with labor shortages and skills gaps. Things like the aging workforce, what's going to happen when you lose this tremendous amount of knowledge that you had because of retirement or so forth. The limited new entrants, the younger generation, how do we get them reinvigorated about working within these industries and the awareness of the opportunities? And then also the evolving skills requirements with the advances in technology and the services and everything. How do we continue to upskill and provide specialized training? Another key issue, retention and turnover. It's a really competitive job market in your industries. There's a lot of demand and there's a lot of opportunity that causes turnover. So how do you deal with that? Workforce culture and safety, it becomes more and more demanding for, facing those safety challenges. And then lack of career pathways. Is there systems put in place for career pathways for people to maintain and help you with your retention? The third key area, perception and public awareness. What's the image of the trades? How do we help, counteract that? Also, disaligning with education, our students and parents recognizing the fields that provide long-term viable careers for our young folks. And then also just even people that are transitioning and looking for new opportunities, veterans that are coming out, looking for opportunities, things like that. Another key issue, number 4, technology integration. How are we handling that with automation and digitization for companies, the training and adaptation, and what's with all the rapid technology advancements, how are we upscaling and teaching and educating our existing workforce to keep them intact. And then finally, regulatory and compliance constraints. Safety and environmental regulations that are ongoing that happen. How are we getting them trained and the information getting distributed to keep current? And then any licensing and certificate requirements that might get coming out. How do we ensure that our new hires or potential hires are getting the certifications and the onboarding training that they need to thrive? So, these factors all underscore the urgent need for collaboration among businesses, educational institutions, and of course workforce agencies. We all have to come together and be steering the ship in the same direction. We'll address these topics through two engaging panels this morning, followed by some additional time. I do encourage you to have further conversations with our panelists, and most of them, I believe, have tables here with information that they can go into a little bit more detail about their programs and what they offer. And so with that, we're going to jump right into our first panel. And I want to introduce our moderator for the education panel. And just as a point of concern, we are going to be recording this. So if everyone could take a second to turn off your cell phones to make sure we don't have all of that. And if you do have to exit for a phone call or anything, please be mindful of the camera and the angle. We're doing this for those folks that were not able to attend, but also as future reference if you ever need to, look back on the information that you're receiving today. So our moderator this morning is Dr. Scott Jeffries. And Dr. Jeffries, he has more than 24 years of leadership, administrative, and teaching experience. He's currently serving as the secretary for the Louisa County Chamber of Commerce and the Louisa Forward Foundation. Prior to joining Piedmont, Virginia Community College as the vice president for finance and administrative services, he served as the associate vice president of finance at Whitfield Community College. He was the superintendent for Wythe County Public Schools and also district superintendent for Lexington City Schools. Dr. Jeffries also has experience as an adjunct professor, assistant superintendent, supervisor of secondary schools, high school principal, middle school principal, elementary school principal. He got them all covered. He's also served as a high school assistant and a secondary math teacher. He has a bachelor's degree in mathematics, a master's degree in sports management and physical education, an education specialist degree in educational leadership and administration, and received his doctorate in educational leadership and policy studies from Virginia Polytechnical Institute and State University. So please welcome our moderator, Dr. Scott Jeffries.
I feel like that was an introduction to get roasted. Really, really kind of you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Well, it is great to be here this morning. I just want to first off start by saying thank you. You could have chosen to be anywhere this morning on this beautiful, warm morning. Then there's plenty of good seating still available at the pool. So put your towel down and save your spot for later this afternoon. But again, as Tracy mentioned, I'm kind of wearing two hats today, but I'm going to be putting on the chamber hats here serving as moderator for what should be a really engaging and informative education panel here in about a minute. But you all could have been anywhere you wanted to today. If you to come out and take part in this is really, really special, and so I do want to make sure that I acknowledge that thank you gift. It is going to be my pleasure to introduce to the stage really three engaging, important, really influential educators locally, regionally, and across the state that are committed to making sure that we do all we can for students all the way from K-12 school divisions up to higher education to best prepare them for success, best prepare them for what they want to do in the future, to best prepare them to help you out in your small business, in your industry, to help generate the next group of workforce in your region, in your company. And so we are here to help, we are here to engage, we are here to learn from that. And so without further ado, I'm going to first introduce here, and I was going on the script here. I'm going to introduce, first off, is Mr. Bo Bundrick, CTE Director for Louisa County Public Schools. Bo, come on up. Good to see you on this floor. Okay, there you go. Next we have Miss Elizabeth Creamer, Vice President for Workforce Development, Piedmont College Workforce Alliance. Elizabeth? And last, serving not least, is Dr. Leonda Keniston, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Workforce Development for Piedmont, Virginia Community College. Blake? So we were going to, I want to have some prompted questions here and allow these experts to kind of just take over. I know it's going to be in the background, literally, just listening. We will open this up to be an engaging opportunity as well. We try to keep things formally informal around here. We do want to make sure when we follow the script and follow what it is that we want to try to accomplish, but also realizing that in this intimate environment here, we do have the ability to engage, to see what questions you all have. And so to be able to ask questions, you got a couple options. On your table, you should see some blank cards. And so if you are interested in that, please fill out one of those cards. We have some volunteers here that will be able to pick those up as well. And so we'll be able to have a Q&A session at the end. But we will have some guiding questions to begin with. And so let's make sure we got the mics tested here. And so we want to just do a little mic check on that, drop a beat or something. Right. And so to our distinguished panel, do they even turn off one while the others on? Or don't say, bro.
You will just see. He takes.
Okay. Watch out. Here we go. All right, so first off, you heard the incredible kind of preface here that Tracy set up for us here. We all understand the challenge. We all understand the needs. And so we got to think about what should we do with the immediate, because we have people, we have industries here who need something now. What can we do to best support you now? But also, what can we do strategically to build out something for long-term success when it comes to certain fields, certain industries here within our region of Lowbrook. So let's talk about the immediate challenges first, y'all. Okay, so Belle, because you're immediately to my left, and we'll start with you. I'm going to give you the first prompt here, and then you rock and roll, all right? What are some examples of immediate recruitment efforts you and your organization have or may provide?
Yeah, thank you. I would say the immediate challenge, but also a piece of our operation at K-12 level is we have a workforce exploration site database, if you will, at our high school. It's called Major Clarity, but there's many vendors out there where we actually recruit employers to hire and also talented students who are job seeking. So my role in workforce development is to simply match those two together. So if you're hiring and we have young students in our programming that matches your need, basically I play matchmaker and put them together. So immediately it's a little bit of a challenge, but also a good thing in our operational day-to-day that we do to make sure the students are provided those opportunities.
Keep up. What's the same question to you?
Oh, I will say thank you so much for the honor of being present here talking about my favorite topic. Immediately, one thing that is changing about community colleges, both Piedmont and CCWA and RUS, we are now looking at MBRI as a success metric. And that may seem surprising, but honestly, higher education oftentimes regarded themselves as having completed their job. They were successful if a student or participant had earned a credential, be it a certification, a certificate, and a grade. That is no longer the case. From the General Assembly and Governor to parents who are paid tuition bills, increasingly our stakeholders want to know what kind of impact did we make on wages and economic empowerment for a lifetime for the individuals we serve. So we have a couple of new initiatives. One is integrated work services centers. Laura Falcon and Samantha Romana are back there. Now you can walk into Reynolds Community College and get career advice and a full spectrum of options, everything from short-term courses in Tropter ID or Nurse 8 all the way up to degree programs that connect to universities. So integrated peer services that are teaching employability skills. The second is a program called Network to Work, and at that Piedmont, Virginia Community College and Reynolds and Wright Point, which I represent through their shared workforce division, they're united. We're working with employers. They identify the job. We go out and identify those who are interested in the job and then give them the prescription to get ready for that job. Support services, training, employability skills development whenever they need. It's a brand new concept, a technology platform. Piedmont invented it, and we borrowed it. The third thing I will say is we're looking to untraditional sources of labor. Increasingly, adult learners, we cannot leave those who didn't complete college just concentrate on high school graduates and like everybody else who didn't succeed the first time in the dust. So you're seeing a lot of emphasis on looking at those college graduates, getting them back at, looking at that service members who are transitioning into civilian employment, looking at those who are leading correctional facilities, looking at those who are on public assistance. We need an employment market where every able-bodied American is able to work.
Thank you. Wait.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And she touched upon some of the things that we're doing, and we'll get a chance to talk about it a bit more. But for us, it's leveraging our partnerships in the recruiting. One of the things that we are growing out, and we are fairly successful with it, and we are starting to expand even more so into workforce, is our Earn While You Learn. And we are basically leveraging our corporate partners, our regional partners, to establish these opportunities with our programs within PVCC, both on the credit and the non-credit side, so that incumbent workers, while they're working, they could enter into our programs and get a credential, get a degree, what have you. Right now, our credit side, we have our EPN to RN Bridge program. This is in partnership with UVA Health, and this is allowing many of the employees who already had an LPN license to take additional classes to RN, and they can then enter into our RN program at BVCC. It's a mixed cohort, but we also have this on our non-credit side as well. We have patient care technician, which is also Earn While You Learn, which is also in partnership with UVA Health. So looking at those opportunities for us, it's been really exciting because more and more employers are saying, they're standing up and they're saying, this is what we can offer. How can we make it innovative in such a way that our current employees can participate in your programs, get the required certificates and licensure for upskilling, and then bring into higher level positions or more complex positions within their workforce. So this is something that we're doing. We're very proud of it. We're expanding it even more so into our skills trades, looking at other opportunities there as well. And of course, leveraging other parts of our organization like Network to Work at PECC to create that job pipeline for many workers who are in one place in their careers or in their jobs, we need to get them to another place. And so we are positioning ourselves as an institution to provide that type of program.
Thank you. Part of being an MC is every once in a while I'll get to exercise the MC privilege, so I'll do that right now by just prompting just another follow-up question here, because this is more of a discussion more so than a regular kind of Q&A type interview setup here. So you heard Elizabeth and Lee kind of speak about the things go on in the community college this year, but Elizabeth and Lee, but I'll start with you, Lee, on this kind of question here. You mentioned about the work that we're doing to help students get credentials and to these experiences here. It's not just something that we say at the community college. It's also like literally a part of our strategic plan. So when it comes to not just our institutions, but also the Virginia Community College system. And so, Lee, do you want to kind of touch on a little bit about the task that we have set by our state board and the chancellor here to accelerate opportunity 2030?
Yes, and I'll also give room for Elizabeth as well. We have a system-wide strategic plan from our chancellor that we have to provide, offer, and help grow 300,000 community credentials. And this is important for us. Some colleges are doing a remarkable job of that, others less so. But the ultimate goal is to have our students and job seekers have 300,000 and within the state meaningful credentials. And so our room is cut out for us. So meaningful, and there was a lot of weight to that particular word, it cannot lead to nothing. When they get a credential, it has to lead to gainful employment. It has to lead to, upskilling to a higher level position or another position if they choose to. They change careers. And so for us, that means then looking at opportunities to extend fast work programming into our high schools. Something that some colleges don't do, but that's something that we are talking about when we're talking about at the Bow and some of our other K-12 partners, extending those opportunities to earn credentials while in high school. And that's a big thing. Big thing about it. We know that a lot of our students are ready for, the traditional pathway to a transfer, to go to university, to get a 4-year degree, and that many of the jobs that we have there were just a certificate, maybe some type of certification, the workforce training. At the end of that program, they are making as much, if not more, than somebody with a 4-year degree. That's important. And so we provide that. Other opportunities where we can start building up those credentials, obviously, is on our main campuses. We're more active in trying to recruit students and building new programs that are responsive to some of the current needs of our employees. So another case in point, we just started the Nuclear Workers Program. And this is in response to the shutdowns that happened at Lake Anna to provide employees, digital job seekers, the opportunity to have employment and certification to work at these sites when they have the shutdowns. And so we're also talking to Bo and others as well about how do we pipeline more high school students into that. And then at the end of the day, they come out with the certification. So the ask is big, but it's not impossible for us. And I want to turn it over to Elizabeth so she could also add.
The General Assembly is meeting now, and as most of you probably know, and two very large issues for community college-led workforce development are an increase in fast forward state funding and dual enrollment. Both are important to enrollment because it's a way to get high school students started early, thinking about career and educational goals and moving forward towards those goals. It's great for families because students can even earn a community college associate degree or certificate at the same time that they graduate from high school. And there is a push by the General Assembly to make it more accessible and more cost-effective for all students across the Commonwealth. Fast forward, in my opinion, was a game changer for workforce development. More than, I think, about 35,000 job seekers across the state had taken advantage of it. Virginia is the only state that has a fast track. It's not linked to academics, no credit, no homework, but a fast track route to valuable industry certification and connections to employers. So we have healthcare, we have transportation, we have information technology, we have manufacturing, we have skilled trades. We can't meet the demand for skilled trades right now. So there are a lot of good quality jobs. The jobs are all living wage. The Virginia Board of Workforce Development has to ascertain. They have economists study, labor market economists, ascertaining that in fact these are living wage jobs with opportunities for career progression. And you can actually enter that career earning credential and enter that career in 4 to 14 weeks. Businesses, including small businesses, can also avail themselves. They can put their incumbent workers through these fast forward trainings. And the tuition for all Virginians is 1/3 of the normal tuition cost. If there's economic need, it's free. 85% of our students for instance, at Reynolds, are taking Fast Forward free of charge. It is a game changer. That's one of the priorities in the Virginia Community College's strategic plan. It used to be when I started in community college education about 24 years ago, degrees were what we had to offer a returning adult. Well, the average working man or woman with 3 children and household responsibilities and a mortgage payment cannot often afford to quit their job and go to university full-time. So finally, we have alternatives that work for people.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Lee, for that. And the whole topic of strategic plans and what was mentioned here, it is kind of that bridge, that segue between addressing immediate concerns, but also mapping out long-term success. And so, Belle, I know that Dr. Straley, a great crew you have there at Louisa County, also have strategic plan in place in the school. You already got approved, and so I'd be remiss if you had the opportunity to kind of chime in on the metrics of the goals that you set forward in your strategic plan and set at Louisa County.
Yeah, thank you. And I will say that I'm very fortunate to work with these 2 individuals on processes, programming, long-term planning, have you already discussed. So, as a K-12 administrator, you have to really immerse yourself into this world, and working with higher ed, and you two has been great to help us in our programming. And as what Scott alluded to, we're very fortunate, Louisa. We are building a brand new 55,000 square foot addition to our high school campus, and it will focus on skilled trades. There's not going to be a robot that can fix your HVAC unit or your toilet one day. So we are still educating young adults at a fundamental credential level so they can see higher ed, but also get that gainful employment that we just mentioned. Purposefully, we're working on manufacturing with a program, the PVCC, and I also serve on the board at Rose Community College, so I know we have a lot of programs working there on their development at CCWA. But the biggest thing in our K-12 level long-term is we have to go by the Virginia Office of Education and Economics data that Elizabeth just mentioned. So there are 360 high-demand, high-wage jobs in Virginia that we are tasked as a K-12 system to align our programming now with those jobs. It's not just, what do you want to just, teach something that may be fun or interesting to students. Now it will simply be aligned to the state initiatives that you just mentioned, and our goals and objectives will align the workforce needs for the Commonwealth, and we will build programs to match those needs. So that gives them a pipeline also into higher ed, so they get their stagnant credentials and obviously elevate their processes. So as we move forward with the Skilled Trades Initiative, the manufacturing, there's 2 more innovative things that we're doing, which will be around fiber optics and aviation. There's more to come on that for us because it's brand new, but I will tell you that we're currently sitting in meetings all the time with industry partners. I know the PVCC, Scott, you and I have talked about your fiber optics program. So we're going to be offering some really neat opportunities for our young adults between the ages of 16 and 18 that they've never had an opportunity to take part in. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Thanks for that, though. To kind of get in there to some more specifics about any kind of long-term planning. And so,
Lee, I know we had talked about our the strategic plan for the Virginia Community College system here, but were there any other specifics or other ideas that you wanted to share with the group here about strategic steps that PVCC is taking to address any long-term challenges?
Sure. So for us, we talked a lot about recruiting people who are ready to upskill, who are ready to change jobs. But we also, not only do we have multiple streams for recruiting individuals, but we also come up with ways to keep individuals, retain our individuals, which is really important for us. Because we know that with any opportunity to move into higher education, and whether it's, where workforce comes to college, one of our mottos with regard to workforce, we need to be able to support our students, our adult learners in ways that matter, because there's the point A and we need to get people to point B. We need to get them to the end. So for us, we're looking at bringing to scale some of our support services. They're strategic. because we know we have an increasing number of English language learners that are going into many of our Fast Forward programs, and we offer that support for them to make sure that not only are they successful in the programs that they have entered, but also they get the jobs that they need, whether it's at UVA Health or Martha Jeff or any of our other corporate partners and employers in the region. We do things like we're starting to expand our strategically our online and hybrid options for many of our adult learners, because as Elizabeth mentioned, they are adult learners. They have jobs during the day, and so we have to build in that flexibility for many of our students and job seekers. And we have other things where we are providing those supports and restructuring our curriculum so that we can make sure that when people sit for assessments, our students sit for their licensing exams and their certifications, it's built into the curriculum and not at the very end. And that's important as well, so that we don't lose people or they lose that momentum. So we really are looking at building in those supports to help retain our students, to get them to the end of their program, and to make sure that we are meeting the needs of the employers that have come to us. And that's critical. So, we look at some of the high-level strategic activities that we need to implement, from the state level, but we bring that down also to the institutional level, where we have our own strategic actions, as our Momentum 2030 strategic plan, where we look at various measures that we have to put in place to make sure that not only are we attracting, but we're keeping those students so that we can actually meet those workforce needs in and around our service region.
Elizabeth, could you please want to wrap up the long-term planning kind of portion of this panel here discussion? Do you have anything to add in terms of work that you and your team are doing to address long-term planning?
Sure. And increasingly, when Piedmont, Virginia speaks about what they're doing, and when I speak about what Reynolds is doing, there's a lot of commonality, because the trend is definitely towards more sharing, more collaboration between colleges, and specifically in the Virginia Community College Strategic Plan and in our individual college plans. There's more of an emphasis on aligning with the economic goals of our localities, our regions, and our Go Virginia regions. We're working now as Go Virginia region units, and one of the ways in which we're thinking, we're doing much better, I think, at thinking strategically and quickly to address regional goals is by working in these Go Virginia regions. We're looking at emerging industries. That means I've spent a lot of the last few years working in pharmaceutical manufacturing. That is not something that ordinarily a community college might have gotten into. It involves everything from operators and technicians with associate degrees or even just an industry certification, all the way to scientists at a PhD level and chemical engineers. It's involving universities, it's involving community colleges, it's involving economic development, workforce boards, nonprofit organizations, economic development organizations. This is the new way of putting together college programming. We're doing the same thing, working with local government and other stakeholders for casino operations in Petersburg. We're doing the same thing with fiber optics, working with a whole network of community colleges and Amazon Web Services and other stakeholders to stand up fiber optics and multiple years of electrical training and even data center operations at community colleges. Whereas a decade ago, oftentimes curriculum was developed by faculty working at the community college, now it's really a community endeavor driven by regional economic development imperatives and informed by business and industry. There's a lot more sharing, a lot more collaboration, and a lot more teamwork. And I think we're getting much closer to really having our finger on the pulse of what are the emerging industries, what are the growing industries, and where do our businesses most need us. We still have to work on employability skills. A consistent uniform K-12 to higher education approach to integrating employability skills into all our curriculum. I think K-12 does it best because they make it part of their curriculum, but it's something that we really need to look at the community colleges too.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that, and thank you, Elizabeth. She mentioned for our Region 9 as a Go Virginia partner that, we have these 3 areas that we're working diligently in advanced manufacturing, something that Bo mentioned, healthcare and IT. And for our region, we're really looking at building those healthcare partnerships. As I mentioned, the Earn While You Learn, and as well as the advanced manufacturing, not only really trying to expand that out. And we have a beautiful building, and we have a fantastic advanced manufacturing technology program at the college, but we're also recruiting high school students from our region and our area high schools to actually come to campus to do that, to come into our manufacturing technology career studies certificate, so they could get on that pathway to advanced manufacturing or having a degree and then having a job. But what she mentions, which is really important here, is that it's kind of a new day for us. This level of collaboration that hasn't happened in the past, that has been always critical, but now because there's more of an integration between workforce and I will say for us, for academics as well, that we are bringing more people to the table to really talk about what those needs are. Before it was, from the college side, it was, this is what we have, right? And now you need to wedge yourself into what we have. Now it's more of, what are your needs? What are the competencies that you need in your employees to be successful at your agency, in your organization, and in your business? And so we're having a different level of conversation. And we are moving around a lot. Scott knows it, and some of the other folks who are in workforce. We are talking to a lot of people to ask them, what are your needs? This is what we have. Does it fit your needs? And then how, if it doesn't, then what do we need to do in order to create something that works for you? And this is, again, a new day for us, and it's exciting, and we're seeing a lot of opportunities around it. We're doing that with our energy sector partners right now, and we're bringing a whole bunch of people to the table to ask those very questions. But at the same time, and I think this is important and may come up again at the end of this, is that when we are asking what your needs are, we're also asking what can you provide as well in terms of what types of resources you can build around programming so that we're all working together towards this common goal.
Thanks, Lee. That's a good segue here to come back to you, Bo, and then we'll go down the line here about, if there is any kind of specific example of collaboration that you'd like to share, because we have individuals here in the audience that may want to see what is a tangible takeaway that I can have from this conversation? What is something that I can now engage in the communication or some sort of collaboration with the school division, with community college regionally here to try to find a solution for my organization, for my workforce needs. And then any other takeaway that you want to make sure the audience has here today. So, Bo, is there any other specific example you want to share that you got? Could be small, could be big, whatever it is. A specific, tangible example that you are doing at Louisa County Public Schools to help find the solutions for workforce, and then what is that one message that you want to make sure this audience takes away from this moment?
Yeah, I think the collaboration has been great in our community so far, from the chamber's involvement to Region 9 stakeholders, employer sponsors that hire our students, that support us. We have over 100 employer sponsors that help support our programming. Louisa Education Foundation, I see Jim's here today. We're talking about new and progressive ways to help students if they're struggling with college tuition, tools, et cetera, to help students on their pathway to careers. Clark Technology, thank you for sponsoring today. You've done more for our construction trades programs in the past couple months. We put a handout saying that we needed some new tools and equipment, and they stepped up and made a donation, not necessarily monetarily, but shaking hands and supporting us through this process. as we're building more in Louisa County and we're hiring more of our students. So great collaboration so far. Continue that. I'm willing to come to your place of employment, shake hands. We can sit down and talk about what collaborations you have. If you're another entity that can support us, glad to make those relationships. And one of the takeaways that you need to understand is annually we have about 1,600 students, ages 15 to 18, that we are trying to teach those professional skills, right? Be life ready, whatever their next chapter is. And that is a huge challenge. For me, especially, I'm kind of a one-man band in the Office of Workforce Development. So, when you immerse yourself into high school and you try to drill into classrooms and talk to teachers, we have 25 staff members in our CTE programming. So there's a lot going on, right? So the takeaway you need to understand is I do need your help. The school division needs your help as we plan, as we program. Sometimes we do seek donations. Sometimes we seek support. We're offering a CTE signing day again this year. It's a piece of legislation where April 23rd, we celebrate those students that are going into the workforce and going into college programs that align with ours. April 30th is our big hiring fair at the gymnasium. So if you're hiring and you want to hire some young talent for internships and apprenticeships, I can get your information if I don't have you on my mailing list, but I will be coming out. April 30th is that magic date. We'll have students ready to go to work. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to collaborating after this, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Elizabeth, we'll do the same prompt, and I can set you up for that again if you need me to. But before we move on to you, Elizabeth, Bo, thanks for that. And believe me, you don't need to tell, I think I can speak on behalf of the audience here, you don't need to tell us that trying to work with 1,600 teenagers is challenging. He used to have a full head of hair. So did I. And so we get it, man. But no, thank you for the hard work that you do for the students in Louisa County, man. It's awesome. Elizabeth, same to you. Is there any kind of specific collaboration that you want to mention, and then kind of finish up with kind of the key takeaway, to make sure that everybody knows what's
Probably the most exciting collaboration I've taken part in, along with Community College Workforce Alliance, Reynolds, and Brightpoint, has been the rise of biotechnology and pharmaceutical manufacturing in our region, because that has involved localities, mayors, chairs, economic development, K-12, universities, multiple community colleges. It's just to come together. We have brought about $100 million in grants to the region, federal and philanthropic grants. It's been a major undertaking. And the impact of that has been felt not just in programs at community colleges, universities, and in high schools. It's been felt in infrastructure for the localities and direct support for businesses, and economic development, having additional personnel to recruit and help businesses expand, bringing more biotech and pharmaceutical manufacturing to the area. So that collaboration's been exciting. What fundamentally I see as having changed in higher education is that it used to be the traditional route to success was graduate from high school, earn a baccalaureate, you say goodbye to college, and you only return for football games and alumni events. That is no longer true. College has changed. College is not just for 18 to 21-year-olds. College is really like getting a physical. It's something you go back to college to upskill, you go back to college to reskill. Today's workers are going to change careers. They're going to need to reskill. And college really should be a place where you go to refuel, replenish, renew, and learn more. And so we need to stop thinking of ourselves just as serving traditional students and get used to being someplace that people can go again and again and again, as frequently maybe as you take a restorative trip to Disney World or the beach. And that's exciting, that's different. The other thing I will say is that I definitely think that all the cards are in place for manufacturing and trades to become a very popular option among both young people and adults that are looking for quality jobs. My husband and I have together 6 children, a daughter-in-law, 3 sons-in-law, and 8 grandchildren. So part of what I know about workforce development has been the hard work to get all of those people employed. And I will tell you, some of our children have baccalaureate degrees. Some of them chose to go into trades and they have certification. Right now, the highest income level, we have 5 daughters, 1 son. The highest income level, much to the chagrin of his sisters, is our son who has a certification from a community college and is a data center site operator for Amazon. That's what he does.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Lee, same prompt to you.
Well, I guess I have to definitely talk about our biotech relationships, our partnerships as well. We are part of the Seaville BioHub. You know, being in Charlottesville, where you have, I always say, our 600-pound gorilla with UVA in our back door there, that gives us a lot of opportunities to leverage different types of partnerships, and that's one of them. We know that biotech in Charlottesville, because we have a research corridor up, 29 North, that gives us we're at the table, and it gives us the opportunity to really talk about what the either pharmaceutical, science-based biotech, manufacturing-based biotech needs are in our area. But they're not the only ones, and I've mentioned a few. We have right now other partnerships like Dominion Energy and Day and Zimmerman. We have smaller businesses and organizations that we work with to try to attract opportunities to develop more programming around their needs. We are also, and Elizabeth has mentioned this, and Bo as well, we are also talking to folks in our local economic development boards. Again, something that we had not done as much in the past that we're doing now. And it gives us a broader perspective on what the needs are in the community. I know many of you in the audience as business leaders and community leaders, and we as well, when we read about workforce needs, there's the national discussion, sometimes there's the regional discussion, and then there's the local discussion. And oftentimes the local discussion actually is what matters the most, because we're right in the field, so to speak, and we know what those needs are, and we seek to address them. We do have our regional partnerships as well. We partner with Reynolds, Laurel Ridge, Germanna, and looking at some emerging needs for our area that are being determined by us, for us in some ways at the system level, but also locally as well. A key takeaway, and I think I've kind of touched upon it in different ways, is the collaboration piece. It's critical. But not just with the collaboration, it's the communication in the collaboration. We have to do a lot of listening and asking a lot of questions, and that's key. And not assume that we know everything that is needed and that what we provide is everything that is required. So if I could just tell you anything, listen, ask questions, bring as many people to the table that are key stakeholders that will help us kind of move and turn that wheel and steer us in the right direction. So I think that's important.
Thank you, Lee. Yes, absolutely, Kim. Yes.
I just wanted to point out during the session where you're going to be moving among resource tables, you've got somebody from Piedmont. Samantha and Laura, if you would wave so people know who you are. These individuals can help businesses connect with apprenticeship programs or just coming to the community college and meeting with recent program completers. Be it small, be it large, they can help you to get engaged if you want to get engaged. That's what they're here today to do, to tell you about what services we offer, and we can also help you to find your talent pipeline.
I have to do the same thing. Thomas, Scott, there's PVCC table. If you all have any questions about PVCC's programming and all of the things that she mentioned, please go over there and reach out to them.
All right, we're going to get into a little bit of a crowd participation here. I do have one question in advance that was handed to me, so if you have some questions that you want to ask the panel here, we'll have a couple minutes worth. But I'm going to read the first question, and I'll let you all do a little rock, paper, scissors to see who wants to answer this question first. What can be done to recruit and retain instructors? There is funding for student training with a big challenge in finding quality instructors. Who wants to take that question?
I'll start at my level. We are working on a piece of legislation right now through Virginia ACTE, which is Association of Career and Tech Ed, and I currently serve as the president of the organization. So we're trying to lighten the load for industry qualified professionals coming into the teaching profession. In other words, taking less required coursework that's required by DOE, making sure that that individual has a credential or some type of subject matter expert qualification. And we're gonna write a piece of legislation. Hopefully, it's in both House and Senate. We think we've got some good traction that will simplify that process and remove barriers so we can recruit and we can pay them equally to what they're making in the industry, but also retain.
Our most successful way to get good instructors in community college workforce programs has been through our partnerships with business and industry, because we run 7 days a week, day and night. I'm proud of the fact we're the 7-Eleven of higher education, and we can use skilled, seasoned workers and help teach. We can help you learn to teach. We can train you to teach if you can do the skills, and you can work whatever schedule you need. But that's where we have the most luck, is partnerships with business and industry. We really want people who have been in the field.
Similar for us, we draw many of our instructors from business and industry, but we're also looking at many of our faculty who also teach on the credit side. A number of them can do both. They can teach across non-credit and credit, and we're looking to expand those opportunities. And even if we brought somebody in for workforce non-credit side, if they have the credentials, they could teach, on the credit side. So that allows us greater flexibility, and so the recruiting allows us to. Recruiting in that way allows us to expand the pool of potential instructors to teach our classes, but it also allows a certain level of security in that regard, where they can do both and not just one or the other.
Thank you all. Are there any other questions from the audience at all? On behalf of the chamber, I just want to make this point to everybody. This is as we feel as a chamber, one of the main emphasis we have is to try to bring these groups of individuals in education, in business, together to help find creative solutions that best support the economic engine of Louisa County. If there's anything that we can do as board members, as a chamber, to help facilitate that, let us know. Even if it's down to you need a meeting space, we have a meeting space available downtown Louisa that we can, let's get a hold of Tracy, we can book the room for you. If you need a place to meet, come on down. If you need help trying to find a phone number or track down a point of contact, let us know. We can help you with that as well. The chamber is here to help facilitate these as well. And so I just want to make that point. And so we're going to have a little bit of a break here. We'll reconvene at 9:45, so feel free to get a little a recharge of coffee, a bagel, whatever it is. Restrooms are out the door here to your left. But on behalf of the chamber, I do want to thank Bo, Elizabeth, Lee. Great discussion. Thank you one and all. Appreciate it.